Greetings and a very warm welcome to the channel. The sun is hiding and the magpie is casting. Coming to you guys right now with a live 1 versus 1 battle featuring spawning in the north. It is going to be the, what does he mean? We got the austere forces of Kryptic. And spawning in the south, it is going to be the United States forces of Zarok. So, yep, 2 players here who have definitely played on the channel before. I remember Zarok being a pretty pokey, pretty potent player. I can remember less about Kryptic, if I'm honest. I feel like I've cast Kryptic less often. So anyway, we'll have to see what Zarok's going to bring to the table. Looks like he's rocking the 3 standard commanders that I would expect. I suppose there's a little bit of wiggle room when it comes to armor company. Some people like it, some people don't. I kind of fall into the don't camp myself. I mean, the Wolverine's awesome. You can bring it in early. It's relatively cheap, and it can definitely get you out of a lot of tight spots. I think it has a lot of utility against Ost here. But, I don't know. It's just not one of my favorite commanders. I usually like to have something a little bit, I don't know, spicy on the end there. And let's see. Has he got... Yeah, no, he's good. Looks like the initial scuffles here are going to be occurring out on the map. Good old rifleman getting stuck into grenadiers. Where's the MG42? Oh, it seems like MG42 has been deployed onto the left flank here, heading out into the west. A touch unusual there because of the buildings on this map. Which BT dubs is Angerville? Is it Angerville? Yeah. No, sorry. This is Arnhem, right? Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, it's like customary to send the MG into this area of the map because you've got so many buildings where it can, like, you know, shoot loads and loads of Yanks, and that's normally pretty strong. Now he's trying to take on, Kryptic's trying to take on 2 squads of riflemen with pioneers and grenadiers, which is going to be tough. He's kind of doing okay though because there's only one window that can shoot these grenadiers from this church, and that means that with the 4 grenadier rifles in heavy cover, they're kind of doing all right-ish against the riflemen in the church. Like, I don't know, but the trouble is these pioneers are going to get flushed. That's about to happen right now, and then it'll be 2 squads of riflemen against these poor grenadiers. And actually, if the riflemen get this building, they'll have also, you know, the directional nature of the cover in this game means that those grenadiers will probably be cut down to size very rapidly. Anyway, here comes the 2nd squad of grenadiers, 3rd squad of riflemen. Looks to be, oh no, those are the rear echelons. Looks to be heading to the front right now. And so far, looks like the 2 players pretty evenly matched. MG42 is going to join the fight at last, coming in from the side here, going to be securing the cutoff point after grabbing the fuel here. And I kind of feel like Kryptic actually knew what he's doing. He was able to buy enough time in mid here without giving up this building, that now his MG42's come across to regroup with his main army so it can actually support his units a little bit. And I'm quite impressed. If he's able to hold mid here, then he's actually gotten himself like more map control than I would typically expect for an austere commander against USF. Which will be really nice. Looks like a 2nd squad of pioneers on the field now for Kryptic, so pretty standard stuff there. Going up to 4 squads of riflemen, again, pretty standard for Zarok. I mean, not everyone goes up to the full 4 squads straight away, but there's nothing wrong with it either, and riflemen are just quite good, so that makes a lot of sense to me. I wonder if we'll see Kryptic go for a marksman at some point. I wouldn't hate that, but seems unlikely. Most players who are going to go for marksman normally get one just before now. A lot of scuffling and skirmishing still going on here in the middle of the map. MG42 is going to join the grenadiers in that building, and that's going to enable a little bit more pain to be thrown on out of this building. There we go. He's going to change the facing, and now it should start shooting. There we go. Was that... Okay. I thought that was like, you know, a quick like 3-round burst, and then he had to reload it. I think it was. Oh dear. Looks like we got some pioneers over here just trying to make trouble, trying to grab some points. Let's see. Where are these? Where are the rear echelons at these days? Okay, looks like the rear echelon's still going strong, pushing forward into mid. Meanwhile, we got another scuffle down here. Grenadiers getting caught out, I think, by a couple of squads of American riflemen, so they're going to have to fall back here. There we go, there comes the fallback. Was that a squad wipe? That was a brutal grenade squad wipe, though, by the way. Oh, epic rifle grenade there. Very nice from Kryptic, snapping one off and getting handsomely rewarded. Achieving a squad wipe against USF at this stage in the game, like, let's call that the 4 1/4 minute mark, is pretty damn spicy. That's going to set Zarok pretty far behind. That's a frustrating squad wipe for Zarok as well. I mean, he looked away for like 2 seconds and got like the most harsh kind of punishment. You'd have thought 2 squads of riflemen against a squad of grenadiers should be a safe bet, and you can look away for 2 seconds. So I do sympathize with Zarok there. But, yeah, nice squad wipe there for Kryptic. Let's see, we've got a mortar GR34 coming onto the field for Kryptic. This is a really good map for that, so I like that a lot. We should see that get some veterancy pretty quickly here. It's going to set up the tube just here and start chunking some rounds into these rear echelons, who are actually quite soft. If this first round falls plumb into the squad... he's not firing at the rear echelons. Okay, that's fine then. Looks like he's going to start firing at this building. Donk. There we go. So we've got a captain on the field for the American player. Looks like that's going to be the tech of choice. It's pretty standard. I think most American players would agree. We probably see like 75-25 captain, lieutenant. That's usually how games boil out. But it feels like actually it's been a very long time since I've seen a lieutenant opener, so Maybe I'm off on those figures, but yeah, just the captain just, I don't know, brings a little more to the table than the lieutenant under most circumstances. So unless you've got a sly build where you want to put your opponent off guard, in which case the lieutenant can become an appealing option. Yeah, most players seemingly going with the captain these days. Looks like we've got a rifleman out on the map capping up ground. Rear echelons also poking. We've got some one of these pioneers going to be heading on over to grab this point over here. VP situation, somehow actually Kryptic in the lead, which I got to say against USF playing as Ost here, not always the easiest thing to do. So, you know, credit where credit's due. That's a good job there from Kryptic to maintain, what do we got here, like a 65 ticket lead it's going to be here in just a second. So that's very nice. Something going right there for Kryptic. Neither player has chosen a commander just yet. A lot of mixed skirmishing going on around the map. And I would say these two players seemingly so far very evenly matched. Kryptic just about getting the upper hand with the squad wipe he achieved earlier. And I have to say, with most of these engagements, just slightly having the upper hand and outgrinding his foe. GR34 beginning to make itself felt here. There we go. Yeah, Zarok's going to have to fall those units back. Stuart on the build queue. 2-2-2 for the German player here, Kryptic. So we're going to have some light vehicle play in the next minute or two here. And that'll be spicy to see. This 2-2-2, I mean, it has a lot of opportunity to do well, but the Stuart is really going to shut it down very, very quickly. So I guess we're going to need to see a pack gun next from Kryptic, something like that. Where is the captain, actually? I mean, he has scouted the captain, if he was paying attention. So he should know that there's probably going to be a Stuart coming. So he should know he probably needs a pack gun next. We'll see if it's going to be the choice. How many munitions has he got? Not enough for Shrek, so I don't think Panzergren's going to be the choice. MG42 getting up into the forward position of this church now is turbo annoying for the American player. Losing riflemen on the doorstep of your base, getting suppressed and all that stuff, really annoying. 2-2-2 here going to reveal itself in the top right of the map. Pushing back some rear echelons, could probably push back some riflemen here, and it may start chewing into them. Looks like it's going to be reversing for now. Meanwhile, over in the west, looks like we've got grenadiers, riflemen still scuffling for ground, but I think generally the story of this game, one of Axis domination. Kryptic's been able to hold the middle of the map, and most of his engagements have just been slightly more efficient. But here comes the Stuart here to try and push this MG away, and it will push the MG away. There's still absolutely no pack gun. Okay, the pack gun comes on the queue just now, so a fine response there by the German player Kryptic. And there's going to be a window of time whilst that pack gun's coming along where this Stuart can get some work done. And if this MG doesn't start falling back soon, it could easily get overrun. Remember, there's nothing here to support. Also, the mortar is kind of exposed, so this Stuart here could decide to overrun. Mortar actually finding a hit. That's pretty nice. Don't think it did that much damage, but still. Looks like the 2-2-2 is going to cycle over to the west here, start pushing back these riflemen. Smart choice there. Always nice to relocate your 2-2-2. Don't like commit it to one area. It's like so maneuverable and it keeps your opponent guessing loads. It's a little bit like a sniper that way. It's like you need to relocate. Anyway. MG42 does get flushed out at long last. I think the Stuart, if Kryptic was on point, could have gotten a much better chase there and probably gotten a lot more damage. But a risky chase for sure because he knows his opponent's probably building a pack gun. And if you chase, you're going to be running into it. So never what you want. This Stuart actually parked in a pretty precarious spot here. Pack gun's going to settle down and just take a shot. Oh, nope, looks like the Stuart's just going to scurry out of range before the shot is taken. And now things are starting to change a little bit. With the Stuart taking map control here, you can see on the minimap a lot of stuff turning red right now. American units pushing on both flanks. And control in the middle of the map becoming tenuous now for Kryptic, whose resources are way down. He's going to need to start taking control of this map. Oh, the American mortar here achieving some grimy hits there. That was its first shell. Killing 2 men and getting a lot of damage onto those pioneers. Grenadiers are desperately holding here, and the 2-2-2 is doing what it can, but this Stuart is going to be repaired here just momentarily, and that will push back the German light armor. And I think Kryptic here in a bit of a situation. He is pushing over here in the east with pioneers and some grenadiers. But he needs to gun these riflemen down. Hopefully he can bring these grenadiers in, because otherwise he's going to have to fall back on that flank as well. Pardon me. Meanwhile, these grenadiers here are going to get forced back. Stuart's repaired. That's going to come in. There goes the 2-2-2. That has to give way. And it looks like with the mortar here, if the American player had stolen an MG42, this would be such a hard lock. As it is, he doesn't have an MG. But basically, this is all just looking pretty rough right now for Kryptic. Who doesn't have a lot going for him. Almost all of his units at base reinforcing, regrouping, repairing, rearming, getting back on their feet. And the American player just with a lovely phase of play just there. That last 2-3 minutes of play, very, very nice. The addition of the mortar to counter the German mortar and apply additional pressure to cement your position in mid. Really nice pick here from Zarok. I like that choice a lot, and it really, really did feel impactful. He's also managed to find a moment here to re-grab that 4th rifleman squad. So he's still... He's got 4 rifleman squad, which I feel like is his happy place, his like home point. That's like his he's used to playing with 4 riflemen, it seems. So So yeah, 222 kind of getting stuck in a little bit. Going to get warded off by veteran rifleman. Doesn't want to get rifle grenaded and then hunted down by a Stuart. Pat gun though in a nice covering position. That is a nice position actually. And it looks like an MG42 going to try and sneak forwards here. If he can get that into this building, that would actually provide a reasonable amount of control here. Oh no, going to run straight into some riflemen. They're going to try and deploy the gun, but uh-oh, facing the wrong direction. That's totally risky. Meanwhile, over here in the east, looks like the Stuart here just cutting through the soft underbelly of these infantry, and that will probably be a fallback there. And in the west, I mean, oh goodness me, looks like a rifle grenade has connected with the 222. Pioneers here for the save, and there's no additional rifle grenade available. So I believe the 222 should exfiltrate safely here, but Kryptic just kind of getting battered back on every front here. The American player with a fortress of units that he's rotating very nicely here to deflect the Axis units. Zarok here really closing the noose, and it's almost like nothing changed. Kryptic had such a spicy start, but he's now trailing by a good like 20, 30 VPs, and the situation only getting worse because of course he's under a triple cap. He's falling miles behind in resources. He still has a good army. He's not really suffered any real losses. 2 Grenadiers, 2 Pioneers, MG42, Mortar, Pack Gun, Scout Car, and soon to be Panzergrens is that's a handsome lineup, especially against this force in the top right, but he just can't catch a break right now out on the map. I think what he should do is regroup everything and take back mid, and then, when the American player is forced to respond, then you start pushing on the flanks and being annoying. But I think right now it feels like Kryptic is trying to push both the flanks and mid, and that's being really hard. Okay, looks like, instead of maybe pushing for mid, it looks like he's going to commit almost everything to the left. One single squad, looks like an MG42, just to prevent any infantry sneaking in on the right flank. I kind of like this, actually. This is the beginnings of a nice move out, and let's see what Kryptic can do here as he moves back out onto the map. His 222 is taking fire from the Stuart and is going to have to give way here. Nice infantry lineup here. LMG-42s are finished, so these Grenadiers have got some poke. Flammenwerfer on the Pioneers. Oh, and there could be a squad wipe on this Rifleman squad, and it does come through. Very nicely executed there from Kryptic. Panzer Grenadiers running heroically through the front of that firefight to get additional damage with their STGs onto the American infantry. Very nice, and he does pick up a squad wipe. And he's kind of making a point on this left flank. He's grabbed the fuel point, he's got his cutoff back, he'll be grabbing the VP shortly. And now the MG42 on the right flank has some Pioneers to push, so that's good to go. And he's even managed to just chip into mid a little bit. Oh, the Storm Pioneers, sorry, the Panzer Grenadiers. Could they get into this building? If he knows that the mortar is here, he could even just lob a bundle grenade, and that was the bundle grenade. And there we go. Very nice moves from Kryptic here, who's really getting back on the map in style. 2 units wiped, and now he's going to try and look for additional damage. These Panzer Grenadiers are getting hosed down, though. They don't want to be in this church. Triple BAR, too much. A little bit too far there. A little bit too much of an ask for those Panzer Grenadiers, and they're going to get out of there. Captain just harrying them. And, okay, a lot of units, a couple of them a little bit idle over here on the left flank. Now they're beginning to be given orders. This 222 probably either wants repairing or throwing into the fray. Where is the Stuart, actually? Okay, Stuart's kind of just chilling, ready to go on the left flank. And, now with weapon racks finished, with BARs and Zooks appearing over some of these units here, the American forces have evolved, and they're going to be much nastier, much harder to take on, and it looks like Zarok here is ready to try and take a fight. Whoa! Zook there just arcing out of the captain, catches the 222 nicely, doesn't actually find the kill, kind of surprisingly. I thought for sure that 222 was going to bite the dust there, but it had enough health. So the little scout car is going to get out of there, and I've got to say, both players, like, seemingly so far very evenly matched. Like the micro on their light vehicles, these light vehicles have been active and indeed skirmishing with each other for like large amounts of this game, and yet neither have died. There's been a few squad wipes here and there for the American player, but seemingly his roster still strong. And yeah, this just seems to be a really nice, evenly matched battle between these two players. I do worry for Kryptic a little bit, though. He's been under this triple cap for some time, and he's now trailing by a good 100 and let's see, that'll be 145 tickets, which, I don't know, that could be problems now. We're coming up to the 15-minute mark, and he really needs to get more established on the map. Now, he's going to grab the right-hand VP here, and that's going to slow down the rate of bleed here. And his units rearming, reinforcing, they're getting, and most of his units are heading back out to the front now, but he really needs to sink his teeth in somewhere and stop this bleed if we're going to see a proper game, which I really think that we could. I think this could be a really cool, awesome game that goes on for a while, because these two players are seemingly so evenly matched. Anyway, Stuart here, going to find a load of soft infantry with no AT, so the Pioneers have to run, the MG has to run, these Grenadiers are going to have to run if they're not careful. So that's, I tell you what, actually, AT has been a problem a little bit for Kryptic. He's had one pack gun this whole time, but it hasn't really taken many shots. So you can see it's probably gotten one hit, just judging by the veterancy here. Looks like these Grenadiers are going to stay for a Faust and then GTFO. But yeah, the AT being a bit of an issue right now for Kryptic. Let's check the tech. Is he actually going to go for Battle Phase 2? Yeah, he's going to go for Battle Phase 2. He doesn't have the support armor core established yet, so I guess these Pioneers pardon me, I guess these pioneers here are going to construct it here momentarily. And he doesn't have that much fuel, actually, so I guess he could get, like, a Stug? I don't know. I don't know about this. I kind of think going for Mechanized Assault and then going for the Stug Light would have been more appropriate. Because it would have been a lot cheaper, and I feel like he just doesn't have the resource situation to justify making a support armor core and then trying to afford units out of it. But we'll see. I could be wrong here. I've been wrong often enough. So these are Panzer Grenadiers. Kryptic is like pretty okay with the micro on those boys. They've looked pretty dominant this whole game. Every time I see them in combat, they're always sprinting in, taking names, kicking ass. How many kills are on these guys now? 10 already is not so bad, especially against USF. So yeah, good day at the office for those Panzer Grenadiers. Looks like the Stuart and some rear Esh going to move on out to the right flank here. And look, now there's finally a Pat gun in the hood. It should take a shot here. Uh-oh. Oh no, this line of sight blocker just too much here. Okay, it'll take a shot there. Oh, but the shot's a miss. And the Stuart can probably get out of the arc if it wanted to. And that Pat gun has to move now. Yeah, there we go. Kryptic's all on top of it. A lot of Axis infantry looking like Kryptic's going to try for another push into mid. There's only a lieutenant in a building and a mortar. So... And a captain, okay. So there are some units in the hood, but I think Kryptic can take this. MG42 gets set up in a reasonable position, capturing, going to start opening up on this lieutenant. Mortar hooning in some rounds there to assist as well. Looks like the Stuart is going to be relocated here, going to transition into mid. Meanwhile, large push over here on the in the west. The American player actually taking a ton of ground here. Zarok looking pretty handsome in this game. 249 to 403, the score here, Kryptic to Zarok respectively. So still Kryptic here, totally the dog here, needs to get something done. This captain, I hope Zarok's paying attention. The captain seems really wounded. Was there a rifle grenade used here or something? I don't know. I think there was a rifle grenade because Kryptic's flat out on munitions and that captain is hella damaged, and he wasn't last time I looked. But yeah, let's crack the tack here for an instant, and you can see, I mean, this has pretty much been the situation since that Stuart arrived and took mid. Just been a triple cap for the American player, plenty of resources flowing in, and the Axis player has a good army. Like, this composition is fine, and he hasn't really suffered many wipes or anything like that, but he's just unable to take, like, the victory points out on the map. So, the situation becoming increasingly desperate here for Kryptic. MG42 going to get up into an okay building here, but there's just, like, mortars hooning in. That American mortar fires so fast. MG42 is going to exfiltrate and get out of there alive somehow, but damn, that was a pretty close one. Okay, so we've got Grenadiers with the LMG, 2 stars of vet. They'll take this fight handily from heavy cover against exposed riflemen, and that they do. So beginning to take back some control. Panzer Grenadiers with a nice bundle grenade going to force back another squad of riflemen, then take up position for a nice mid-range fight here with their STGs in heavy cover. That's also quite nice. There is anti-tank support here. Wounded rifleman squad here are being focused by the Panzer Grens, unlikely to be a wipe. Yep, and they're going to get out there. Nice pineapple, but a good dodge from Kryptic. Intense fight here. GR34 slams home into the lieutenant, whilst the American mortar slams home into the Panzer Grens, but it is the Panzer Grens who are apparently going to reign supreme. And are they going to try to overrun here? Possibly. But there's a 50 cal getting set up. Remember, of course, the lieutenant's been on the field for a while, and I love the 50 cal. When you're on top and you control the middle line of the map, getting MGs out to cover all of the victory points that your opponent's trying to grab and just make it really hard, make it like treacle for them to get out onto the map. Is always good. It always looks good in this game. I remember Panzer Grenadier and Gryphon did a similar thing with the MG34s on, what was that, Semyos? No, not Semyos. Road to Kharkov in a recent game that I cast. And it's just once you control the map, just invest in a few MGs, and it makes life really hard for your opponent. I mean, this is bread and butter Company of Heroes too. Not exactly news to those of you who know what you're doing, but yeah, I just don't often see American players building 50 cals at this time in the game when they have the upper hand, and I think it's a really smart choice. So yeah, just loving what I'm seeing here from Zarok. It's really nice. God damn, this mortar is just like... Oh, it's been recrewed. Oh yeah, of course, it got blown up by the bundle grenade, but still, that mortar is just still looking ever impressive there, the American mortar. And we've got a Panzer IV on the queue, so an opportunity here for Kryptic to change his fate with the Axis medium, but I don't know if it might be too little too late. I mean, a 20-minute Panzer IV, which is what this is going to be. It's going to be like a sort of 20 minutes, 40 seconds-ish, somewhere around there. It's going to be a pretty late Panzer IV anyway. Is not super impressive. And like Zarok, okay, he doesn't have major, but he hasn't chosen his he hasn't chosen a commander, so he could call in like anything. I mean, he's got Pershing fuel. And, whoa, there goes the Stuart, though. Stuart gets taken out. Looks like Pat Gun here in the middle was able to chip it down. Sorry I missed the killing blow. But, yeah, Stuart does get blown up. Nice engagement there as Kryptic looking to cement himself in the middle of the map. 222 still being annoying here. Looks like a rifle grenade is going to connect, but that won't be enough to kill it. MG42 in a nice building with a mortar supporting here. Means that actually the lieutenant gets pushed back out of mid, and now we've got a mortar war going on. Looks like the MG42 is going to have to skedaddle. Look in the top left to make sure that it does so. It's this unit here. Wait for the little flashing red flag on it. And we've got like a nice advance here. Kryptic pushing across a very large front. Did that MG42 not fall back? That is so brave. He's just soft-falled it back. And now, 3-star squad of Grenadiers falling back right past the left-hand... Sorry, the captain. Panzer IV is going to announce itself. I haven't seen this camo for ages. Nice to see Kryptic busting it out here. He doesn't actually even have the munitions for the pintle mount MG42, but the Panzer IV still ever effective against infantry. Going to try and chase down this captain here. Probably won't be able to, but might get one more man, maybe? No, okay. So he's just going to come straight on into these riflemen. Let's crack the tack here. There's a lot of action that's been going on this game, which is really cool, actually. These two players, like I was saying earlier, seemingly very evenly matched, and keeping each other busy across the entire, like, you know, breadth of the map is pretty cool. Kryptic here now at sub 100 VPs, though, so the situation now becoming do or die. He's going to grab the right-hand VP, and that is something. If he had some infantry over here in the left, he could grab that one. In fact, I think when your VPs are this low, you've got to kind of say, screw getting the fuel, get that second, and just go for that VP. But anyway, Panzer IV getting a lovely squad wipe on one of the 50 cals. That's really nice. Okay, so beginning to pick up a little bit more here is Kryptic. And he's pushing on the right flank. Gets another squad wipe on some riflemen. Oh, and they drop the BAR, which these Grenadiers are going to yum that one straight up. Rum, num, 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 num. There we go. And that's now quite the scary squad. 3-star Grens with a BAR and an LMG42 is just like, oh, Allied players wake up in cold sweats in the middle of the night. Wow, look, I mean, these American infantry is getting hosed down. This is like a killing zone now. This MG42, I'd love to see him switch on the incendiary just so he could push out the American MG out of this building. He actually has the munitions for that, but he may be prioritizing it elsewhere. Okay, massive move out here. Looks like the captain and some riflemen going to be pushing. But this is a really nice move out from Kryptic. He's managed to take the right VP, still holding that. Oh man, he's been so slow to grab the left one. Which means that he's now down at 83 under 403. 3-star rifleman. They've redropped. Looks like they've given them back the BAR. The riflemen here are actually unable to pick that up, I believe. Panzer IV is going to come into the hood here, but there's double Zook on this squad, so he's got to be very careful. Going to take... Oh no, gets hit by the AT rifle grenade. Panzer IV is now stricken. Turbo weak. The double Zook squad here. It can push. He needs to focus the double Zook squad. The captain here has to be the priority. Mortar shells coming in, but I don't think it's going to be enough now. I think this Panzer IV could be dead. He's going to try and dupe back and come forwards here, but there's an M1 AT gun coming in. So this is definitely a dead Panzer IV, I feel. The captain is forced back, but this AT gun's in position here. And there comes a lovely hit. One more hit should be all she wrote. Panzer IV is going to get behind a wall here. Oh, but it's not enough, and the shot finds the Panzer IV. I feel like that was kind of bitterly unlucky there, getting over 2 walls that shot. But Kryptic gonna lose his Panzer IV, and I don't know, that's pretty serious. The American player right now has, okay, he has chosen the Pershing commander. He can call in a Pershing, but he has nowhere near the manpower. He's got to save up 600. So if he spends no more manpower, that's going to take him about 2 minutes worth of saving. So that Pershing actually not as close as you might think. The Kryptic here is going to have a couple of minutes to try and get something up together to deal with that. A nice S-minefield going to be deployed here, and that's really smart here from Kryptic. That's where his munitions have been going. A lot of stuff like this going on, I guess. And okay, so Kryptic finally is not bleeding. So he has secured left and right VPs. Now he just has to somehow hold. He's got double mortar, which I actually really like. They're both GR34, so he's actually bought that second mortar. With the 2 mortars holding down mid, if he can get his MG42 back over here... Oh no, this is awkward. He's reinforcing it, but I think he's told it to move out, so it's actually... Oh no, that's so awkward. It's going to arrive at the front with just 2 or 3 guys. That is turbo awkward. But anyway, yeah, if you can get that MG42 up in this building, or probably this one, that'll look fine. Rifleman here with BAR is going to overrun on top of this Pat gun, and that will be a kill there on the Axis AT gun. Looks like those riflemen were able to reinforce to 4 men. So my fears there unfounded, and they're going to push back these riflemen for now. Skirmishing here going on in the east of the map. Pineapple comes through, but Kryptic straight on top of it. The flash fallback on those Grenadiers, a lovely save. Remember, US riflemen do actually kind of count as elite infantry, so when they throw grenades, they get the elite infantry, like, you know, cooked grenade. The fuse is quite short on that. Bundle grenade going to come down onto this MG. And it's good enough. That's just going to kill that MG. And this is a second squad of Panzer Grenadiers, actually. And I gotta say, Kryptic making Panzer Grenadiers look very good this whole game, actually. He's a man who's totally au fait and okay with using Panzer Grenadiers. And this is some pretty spicy plays here. Able to decap this point here for Kryptic is really cool. So now Zarok's resources not looking nearly as good as they used to. In fact, it's Kryptic who's pulling ahead in terms of resources. Another Panzer IV is going to be the fuel choice here. And I feel like Zarok, he's been saving up for this Pershing for ages, which can arrive now. But, like, he's actually lost a lot of his army. You know, he's lost 2 of the rifleman squads. The 50 cals have gone. This army looking a bit small. Okay, it looks a lot bigger with the Pershing, that's for sure. But, yeah, Kryptic doing pretty well here at, like, capitalizing on the I'm saving up for a Pershing manpower window that Zarok had to suffer through. But now there's a Pershing, and what have we got? So we've got a pack gun. That is not good enough, usually. And there's going to be a Panzer IV here momentarily, but I feel like that's more of a vulnerability than a strength when your opponent has a Pershing. So this Pershing right now, undoubtedly the Kingmaker. Remember, the main cannon is horrendously effective against infantry. It can and will occasionally just one-hit 4-man squads, so you've got to be pretty careful where the Pershing's concerned. Got to be very careful with your infantry. Oh no, the pack gun, the only pack gun, gets totally caught out. Pershing here just going to prioritize that as a target here, and that's not going to last very long at all. And now the Pershing could just overrun into the base. What is this Panzer IV doing? Surely no Panzer IV. Surely this is a fight too far. And looks like the Pershing going to try and focus down this pack gun here. Getting some grimy hits on that. And this is a real problem. This is a real problem. Now the American player is going to grab back the right-hand VP. He already still has mid. So that means that a bleed is going to be established here, which Kryptic can ill afford, being at 77 under 353. So this Pershing definitely changing the momentum of this game, definitely having the impact that Zarok required. Even though he kind of... The resources didn't quite line up for Zarok. Like, he lost some of his army and couldn't replace it because he was saving up for the Pershing. But I think that has not been damaging enough to prevent him from taking the win with this Pershing. He's definitely still alive for the win here. And Kryptic's still totally the dog here. Now this Panzer IV, like, what can he do with it? Like, it's been on the field for like well over a minute now, maybe 2. And I just don't really know what it can hope to achieve. I mean, this is basically a glorified 2-2-2 now because the Pershing's on the field. I mean, we'll see what he's able to get done here. Okay, he did get Shreks on his Panzer Grenadiers. This is great. I was really hoping he would be able to afford that. So, okay, Kryptic does have some additional hard AT coming up. He's going to need to rebuy pack guns as well. He has the manpower. I think he should just rebuy immediately because he just needs, like, hard AT to deal with this thing. In fact, you know what? He has Stug money, and he has the support armor core. I think a Stug would actually be a sweet choice right now. Yeah, a Stug would be a real nice choice. 280 and 90 fuel. He can afford that. A little bit of combat coming on down here over in the west of the map. Looks like some nicely entrenched Grenadiers. Pineapple comes through. Good dodge! Kryptic has been so on top of his infantry micro. Like, wow, because that Pineapple was the difference between holding this VP or not. So that's like a massive deal. Dodging that Pineapple was really, really nice there from Kryptic. And I have to say, actually, I haven't seen him make any blunders with the very fragile austere infantry at all. Like, I don't think I've seen him lose a squad through... just a flat-out mistake. Oh, rifle grenade comes through. Oh, and he gets the mortar! And, like, his rifle grenades seem to be dynamite, and his bundle grenades. It's like every single one he puts down has been a squad wipe. But anyway, the Pershing is here. These Grenadiers are very, very low. They're going to try and fall back. Pershing might get one more shot on the retreating Grenadiers here. Nope, looks like he's going to hurl that shot into this MG42. Oh, the fallback coming down a split second before middle VP was captured. And I think Kryptic may be punished for that. Anyway, pack gun gets set up, has the Pershing in arc, so the Pershing's going to have to GTFO. Meanwhile, on the right flank, Panzer IV trying its best to push back the tides of allied infantry. But a rifleman squad here going to get it close enough for an anti-tank rifle grenade. That's going to break the engine, so the Panzer IV here going to be out of circulation for a little bit. I wonder if the Pershing, yeah, Pershing's going to transition across here into the eastern flank, try maybe to find a kill on the Panzer IV. Kryptic responding nicely, preemptively bringing across the pack gun and the Panzer Shrek Panzergrens is very clever. Meanwhile, in the west, looks like rear echelon's going to grab the cut-off point, so savaging the resources of the Axis player, which he can kind of ill afford, but then again, he can ill afford pretty much anything at this stage. Okay, but hang on. So Kryptic holds the western VP, he's taking mid, and he's taking right, so he is actually taking care of business, even if he's losing some resources. What actually matters is these points. He really needs to actually finish the cap here. I hope he realizes he's not doing that. Panzer IV has its engine repaired, not quite at full health, but ready to rock. Looks like we've got some Rangers being added into the mix here. Tommy Gun's just now finishing up for them. So, alright, now here comes the push, I think, from the American player. All his units are at full health, more or less. Well, a lot of them. And he's pushing on over here into the west, kind of pushing into mid as well. He's going to grab this VP. He does have a metal detector, so he's not going to fall foul of the S minefield here. These Grenadiers just get immediately found out. That had to be a fallback. Oh, they're so clustered. The Pershing could kill them in one shot. Pershing could kill them in one shot. They're getting... Oh, and that will be a squad wipe. Almost certain squad wipe going down here. There's one Grenadier is desperately going to flee for his life, but the Pershing's just too fast. And finally, we see Kryptic suffer his first squad wipe due to basically inattention. He just didn't quite catch the fact that those Grenadiers were being hooned on by quite so many units quite so quickly, and that is actually going to be a squad wipe there. So finally Zarok able to chalk off these Grenadiers that have been alive the whole game, providing total value. But the GR34 still going strong in mid. Still got Panzergrens dancing with the American units here. I've got to say, I'm very impressed with Kryptic. I'm very impressed. Like, and now he's got 2 Panzer IVs? Really? Okay, this just in. Apparently, Kryptic reckons Panzer IVs are just the answer to a Pershing. If he makes me eat my words and he gets a sweet fight and takes out the Pershing with Panzer IVs, I'm gonna... That's just going to make me really happy. Pineapple here coming through. Flash fallback on the Panzergrens. 2 of them get gibbed by the blast, but the flash fallback going to save the squad. So again, Kryptic with the marvelous awareness. It's just nice to see. It's just really good to see. He's playing this so well, and he's like totally the dog at the moment. Like, look at the top left, look at the top right. I definitely prefer the American Army. It's closer than I make it sound, but I definitely prefer the American Army. And like, he's way behind in VPs, and I feel like he's basically been behind on the map this entire game, and yet he's still kind of fighting here. Panzer IV comes in for a poke at the base. Gonna be punished though. M1AT gun pushes it back with about a quarter of health. The Pershing's transitioning over here as well. Pershing awkwardly reversing. Wow. There's a pack gun here, but it's kind of slow on the setup. He's gonna get some shots. Biff. Oh, but a bounce. Panzer IV comes forward. This is so risky. It looks like the Shrek Panzer Grenadiers are here as well, and that was an attempt there by Kryptic to take out the Pershing, but the Pershing's armor actually repulsing a lot of those hits. So it's not going to happen right now. The American Heavy will fight on. And this Panzer IV has to GTFO. There's nothing standing between it and the Pershing and the M1AT gun. He has to get that way back, like right now, I feel. And Kryptic, by the way, still hasn't chosen a commander. If he wanted to have Panzer Attack, he could have Panzer Attack to get smoke on these tanks. Meanwhile, there's fighting going on in the west as well. This is totally lots of stuff. Oh, this Panzer IV is set to prioritize vehicles, so it's not helping them with this fight. Grenadiers getting picked down by a machine gun. Meanwhile, back on the right flank, that was an attempt at the Transformers I'm changing scenes noise, but I kind of got it completely wrong. Let's go back to the western flank. There we go. That's much more in tune. What am I doing? Oh yeah, casting this game. So, yeah. So this Panzer IV remembers how to shoot infantry. A little late though. The Grenadiers have to GTFO, and that is going to make the difference between capping this point and not. And now Kryptic back on the bleed, forced to fall back with wounded vehicle units here, so they're going to limp back and have to repair. The Pershing likewise repairing in base right now. But the American player kind of got what he wanted out of that last phase of play, which is 2 of the VPs, please. If he can just hold 2 of the VPs, he's a happy boy. So that's what he's doing. Point is being overrun. God damn, this has been such a strange game from Kryptic. Going support Armor Corps and going for like 3 Panzer IVs, which, I mean, that's how many he's built now. It's not often you see that style, and I have to say, it's not often you see that style looking kind of effective. Like, Kryptic has made this a real game, even though he's trailing by quite a lot in terms of VPs. Yeah, he really needs to he really needs to grab another VP pretty soon. Morse is hooning on into this building. Captain here getting turbo low. In fact, I would just love it if Kryptic just puts down the barrage repeatedly on this church, because like it's an annoying building and it's nearly dead. So I'm sure he'd rather it was destroyed than standing. These 3-star Panzer Grenadiers, by the way, are just so they just take names and kick ass. Okay, looks like we've got more action on the right flank. Flammenwerfer Pioneers versus quite a few squads of American units, actually. So they'll have to fall back. I imagine that VP will be being lost shortly, but 3-star Panzergrens taking mid. And on the right flank, looks like... oh, what? these Grenadiers just getting gunned down by a 50 cal. They desperately need assistance. I wonder if Kryptic's going to be able to spare the APM, but there's a huge fight going on in mid. Pershing is casting shells into the center area here, so the infantry's going to have to GTFO. That means Kryptic's not going to grab the middle VP, and he's down at 28 now and on the slow bleed, and it's soon to be the fast bleed because this VP here is going to get captured by the American forces here. Zarok looking very good here. And I have to say, it looks as though Zarok might be taking this game in the next minute or two. And I have to say, he has played a fantastic game. Kryptic here has absolutely stubbornly refused to die. Hell, he's stubbornly refused to lose almost any units whatsoever. Oh my god, look, he's still just playing for advantage with Panzer Grenadiers lobbing bundle grenades and mortars hooning into this building. That MG needs to fall the hell back. Zarok needs to get them out of there, but he just might not care at this stage in the game. Yeah, Zarok just... This has been a very, very hard victory, I feel like, for Zarok. But I can't see a way that the German player is going to get back in this. I mean, these Grenadiers coming in, but it's too late. It is too late, I feel. 2 VPs, but I think that's just too late. And that's it. There's the death now. How close were we? Okay, so he was this close in terms of capturing a VP, that little bit of the circle there, to prolonging that game just a bit further. And I think that was just a sweet game of Company of Heroes 2. That was very, very nice. 2 evenly matched players. Neither player made any massive game-ending blunders. There was like one lack of awareness from Kryptic and possibly 1 or 2 from Zarok, which saw a couple of pineapples, a couple of rifle grenades, a couple of bundle grenades, get some squad wipes here or there. But I mean, you know, that's Company of Heroes 2. It's a rare game or a rare day of games where you save all of those. So yeah, just a very nice, highly skilled game here. Kryptic getting pushed out here, 318-0, but I think the scoreline kind of misleading here. I think he actually fought very well. And I actually kind of feel like Kryptic getting the upper hand in a lot of the fair fights, if you like, in inverted commas, in that game. You know, a lot of the fights that were just bread and butter infantry units engaging and interacting with one another. Certainly the fights for the first 5 or 10 minutes of the game before the Stuart came on. I feel like Kryptic actually demonstrating that he was getting slightly more efficiency, slightly better value for money, just taking slightly better fights in the grindy infantry on infantry engagements than Zarok. And I kind of think that what let Kryptic down, and part of me hates to say this though, is the fact that he actually went for Battle Phase 2 and he got the Support Armor Corps and then he made Panzer IVs, and that was kind of his fuel spending. That was like all his fuel spending really, except for the 222. And I just don't really think those Panzer IVs were a very good choice. The first Panzer IV was fine, and I think he was unlucky to lose that. That Panzer IV looked really good, and it sucks that it was taken out by the captain and the AT gun, but that sometimes happens. But the second 2 Panzer IVs, I mean... They were alive for some time, and neither of them has a Star of Veterancy. Only 6 kills between them, because they basically had to spend their entire lives skirting around the M1 anti-tank gun and the mighty Pershing. You know, Panzer IVs, you won't get those killing opportunities, because the opponent will just deflect them with his heavy tank and his M1 AT gun in the late game. The Panzer IVs, just not that good when your opponent already has a Pershing. So I kind of think... I kind of think that the choice probably should have been Mechanized Assault Doctrine. And again, I'm kind of slightly wary, a little sad, a little disheartened to be recommending this. But I really do think if he'd have gone for the Mechanized Assault Doctrine when the Stuart was on the field, he could have brought in the Stug Light and use that as a way of helping with the Stuart, as well as a way of applying pressure in the mid and on the flanks on this map. Those Stug Lights are pretty good on the flanks on this map. They're very good against infantry, of course. They're very good against infantry even in buildings. They've got good range. They're just a good pushing unit. So if you've got a good infantry lineup, which Kryptic did have, and you're good at looking after it, which Kryptic was, having those Stugs, because of their range and their power, kind of forces the American player to either engage into you or give way. And yeah, I just think I think I would have preferred that style. And of course, you save a ton of fuel on the tacking costs, and that way in the late game you also have that option for the Tiger tank, which would have helped quite a lot, I think, against the Pershing. Now, I'm not sure he would have had enough fuel for all of the Stuggies that he would have liked and the Tiger tank, but he certainly would have had enough fuel for 1, maybe 2 Stuggies and the Tiger tank. So yeah, like I say, it does make me slightly sad to recommend bypassing the austere tech tree, but it's just such a bloody liability. We see this game after game. Having to research battle phases and then put down these buildings is kind of backbreaking. And like I say, I think taking Mechanized Assault Doctrine, this was That was a time for it. I think that was a time. This was a game for it. That's my analysis. I think that would have been the ticket here for Kryptic. But anyway, on reflection, a very cool game between two very well matched players and an absolute pleasure to cast. So I guess that concludes this battle. Thank you very much for watching, and this for now is Magpie842 signing out.